Today, to talk about the element of art, space, we're actually going to use outer space to help us understand how we use this element of art. We're going to take a look at the planets and the solar system that we live in. If you look up into the sky at night, you will see stars. Stars are huge balls of hot and glowing gases. They're so hot and bright that you can see them from Earth even though they are very, very, very far away. Our sun is actually a star. It is the star that our planets orbit or go around in a circle in space. The sun is at the very center of our solar system, and then the other planets go around in circles around the sun. Our planets in our solar system orbit or travel around the sun in a circle. These planets are special. They are round and they are larger than other objects in space, like meteorites or comets, and we can view them from Earth with special equipment called telescopes to see how they orbit in a circle. We'll be drawing the solar system today to practice using that element of art called space. We're going to draw a planet near us, a planet that is in the middle, or we could say away from us, and then the planets that are far from us. So let's go ahead and we're going to get our pencils out to draw with today, and we will begin our activity of drawing the solar system to practice here, near, and far. This week we're going to start with our paper in the horizontal direction. We are practicing the element of art called space. In space, you draw things near you, or we would say here. Then you might draw things a little further away, and that would be near, and then things really far away, and that would be far. This is how we use the element of space in our drawings. When we do that, it creates interest to whoever is looking at our drawing or painting. So we're going to draw the solar system today, but we're going to use that element of here, near, and far. At the bottom of our paper, the sun is the center of the solar system. If you remember, here's our order of our planets. So if you remember, I said that the sun is in the center. So we're going to draw that closest to us on our paper. Then we will draw Mercury, Venus, and then our planet Earth, followed by Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. So down here at the bottom of my paper, I'm just going to start here at this corner, and I'm going to make a great big curving line for the sun, because the sun is going to be near us in our picture. So I just made my curving line across the bottom of my paper. So that's the sun. Now, also close to the sun, or would be closest to us in our planets, would be the planet Mercury. So I'm going to draw a circle over here for Mercury, and I'm going to make it pretty big because I want to show that it is near us. Then I'm going to draw Venus, and I'm going to make that circle just a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to draw Earth, and again, make it just a little bit smaller than the first one. So do you see how when we use the size of how we draw our circles, we are showing here, near, and far? And that is using the element of space. Our next planet is Mars, so I'm going to make that a circle right here and draw it just a little bit smaller than my Earth circle. Now, in the outer space, we have something called the asteroid belt, and this is where a lot of comets and things scientists can spot them. And the asteroid belt is filled with all kinds of space rocks. So in order to show that differentiation with our space rocks, I'm just going to leave a little space. And then when we use our Sharpie here in a minute, we will use some dots to show those space rocks. So we have our first planets here, and then we're going to have a line, and I'm just going to really lightly put that in with my pencil. That way I can do my space rocks. And then I'm going to add in my last 4 planets. So I'm going to draw a circle here for Jupiter, and I want it smaller here than my circle that I made for Mars to show that it's far away. So there's Jupiter. And then I have Saturn, so I'm going to make that a little smaller. And Saturn has rings around it, so I'm just going to draw a line through it to show those rings. And then we have Uranus. And then our smallest planet, Neptune. And these are our planets of the solar system. Again, you can see by the size that I drew my circles, it creates that feeling of space. We have our sun near us. We have what's called our land planets here in the middle. And then our gas planets are far away. We're going to get our Sharpies out now, and we're going to outline and add in the asteroid belt with our Sharpies next. So you may go ahead and put your pencil away and get out your Sharpie. If you don't have a Sharpie, you can use a black marker or a black crayon. All right, I went ahead and outlined my sun and the first 4 planets. I wanted to show you how I'm going to mark the asteroid belt on my paper. So I'm just going to take my Sharpie and I'm just going to make dots, and they don't have to be in a perfect line, but I do want them in kind of a curving row here on my paper. Almost think about like a rainbow filled with rocks. That's what we're trying to show with our dots, is that there's a whole bunch of space rocks here in the asteroid belt. Now that I've done that, I'm going to outline the rest of my planets. And then when I get here for Jupiter, I'm just going to draw my line like this, go around and draw my line here, and then connect my line across. And that will show that the planet has its rings. And then I'm going to do my last 2 planets. Now that we have that all done, you can put your Sharpie up, or your black crayon, or your black marker. And we are going to get out all of your crayons, and we're going to color this in together, so that way the color of our planets match what we know they look like from outer space. I got out to color in the sun and the planets. I'm going to use an orange for the sun. I've got a gray out for our Mercury planet. I'm going to use a brown for Venus and also for Jupiter, and we're going to use different values if you remember how we did that. I got a green for Earth, and a red for Mars, yellow for Saturn, and then for Uranus and Neptune, I'm going to use blue, but again, I'm going to practice using different values of blue. I'm going to color in first my sun, the orange color. Mercury is going to be gray. Venus, I'm going to press really lightly with my brown color. Let's start with those first 3 planets, and then we'll meet up to talk about coloring in Earth and Mars. Sun, and I colored in Mercury and Venus. Now I know Earth is blue and green, so I'm going to use green mainly for my planet here, and I'm just going to make some wavy lines to just kind of look like all the land that's on Earth. And then I'm going to fill in those wavy lines, those organic shapes I made with my green. And then I'm going to color in the ocean water with blue. I wanted green to be the main focus on Earth because that is one of the characteristics that makes it different from the other planets, is that we have green plants growing on Earth. And so I wanted that to stand out in my solar system drawing here. Mars is the next planet here, and it's nicknamed the Red Planet because the land on the planet has a reddish value to it. Almost kind of a little bit red-orange. And so it's been nicknamed the Red Planet. Alright, so we finished our first 4 planets in the solar system. Now we're going to do our last 4 planets. So if you remember, I said we're going to use brown again for Jupiter. And this time we're just going to make some organic shapes and wavy lines on it. Just pretty much like we did for Earth. And then we're going to press hard, remember, to create that dark value on our lines. And then press lightly to create a light brown. And we've been able to use 1 brown crayon, and we created 2 values for it to stand out. With Saturn, I'm just going to color it in yellow. And then Uranus is a little bit lighter than Neptune and Earth with its blue color. So I'm just going to color it real lightly, so I'm not putting too much pressure on it. And then Neptune is the coldest planet because it's furthest away from the sun, so I'm going to color it dark blue. Now that I've finished all of my planets here, I'm going to get my black out, and I'm going to color all of this background here to show outer space. Once I get that done, I'll be all finished with my solar system drawing. Now finished my outer space drawing. And it definitely shows that element of art of space very well. My sun is here. Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars are near. And Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are far. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about our solar system and creating this artwork.